We continue with a special edition of Sports for CLE from the Mid-American Conference Football Media Days, Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. We are pleased to be joined by the head football coach of the Toledo Rockets, Jason Candle. Coach, 9th season at Toledo. That I looked down and I go, wow. Take me through last year. You had a really good year, and I don't think I'm guessing it didn't end the way you wanted it to on the wrong side of the MAC championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I think really interesting start to the season, right? You're toe-to-toe with a Big Ten team for 59 minutes and 42 seconds, right? And then you run off 11 straight wins, and then you play a bad quarter football against Miami, and you lose on the last-second field goal as time expires in a bowl game. So the bookends, not so cool. The in-between stretch, I mean, a lot of things accomplished that haven't been done in our program in a long, long time. I mean, to be in the top 25, to get to 11 wins, 10 first-team all-conference players, a lot of great accomplishments, but the cherry on top did not to finish it the way you wanted to finish it. That stings, and that's a motivating factor. And as you turn the page to what this season's going to look like, we've had a lot of really good intentional work through the offseason, and that being the driving force. Yeah,
take me through that. What's the message? And I imagine it stings more. I looked at that, I'm like, man, that's rough. But it's even more so to the guys that lived it and went through it.
Well, I think it's, like I said, a motivating factor, but I don't think that the message changes. I think each team's different, each year's different. We still have a bunch of high character guys that really enjoy the process of trying to be the best version of themselves in the classroom and on the football field. And I think that's the standard that's been set from the guys that have been before these guys. We lost a lot of great seniors, and Quinyon Mitchell becoming a first-round draft pick. I mean, there's a lot of really good things that have highlighted that continue to show the way for young players of what the expectation here is and what we need to do. So, I think really good work from in the offseason to this point in time. We got to double down on that and have a great preseason camp, but we're cautiously optimistic about what it can be and excited to get the season kicked off.
When you look at it, what do you think can be the strength of this team if it plays the way you want it to?
I think the strength is in us. I mean, just the people. Obviously we've recruited at a really high level here for a long time, so there's a lot of talent there. But the continuity and what a team looks like and how that morphs into what you want it to be, that's a different process every year. So you rely on a really good staff to continue to put a good message into the heads and the hearts of the young people in the locker room. You rely on really good leadership and that leadership council and those seniors to really let that take shape when the coaches aren't around. And then the summer program, that's a big part of that. So we feel good about that, and we feel good about where we're at from a psychological standpoint heading into preseason camp. And now it's time to go to work and see where see what it does.
Is there a kind of a mindset that you've sensed? You mentioned every team's different, and as a coach that's been doing it a while, you get a sense. What do you think the personality of this team has been? And I know you're not in camp yet, but you get a sense of it.
No, I do. And I think this is a very highly motivated, hungry football team. And you could go down the list, right? Like we want to celebrate the successes of Quinyon Mitchell. We want to celebrate the successes of the Judge Culpeppers and all these guys that are Dallas Gant and these guys that are in pro camps and were draft picks and the success of last year's team. But I think all of that to the side. I think there's a lot of young players that have patiently waited their turn to show everybody what they have. And, I think from that standpoint, so I feel the motivation, I feel the competitiveness. Spring practice had a little bit different edge to it this year than maybe some of the years in the past that, and again, whatever the motivating factor is, that's just how it was. So I think that's a really positive starting point. And, how do you continue to put fuel on that fire and take us through a great season?
You mentioned Q Mitchell. Is a guy like that, does his impact continue? Because all the guys that played with him saw what he did day in and day out, and he was, by all measures, one of the best cover corners in the draft. He went first round to the Eagles. Mm-hmm. But is a guy like that, does he have a lasting impact just because of everybody sees what it takes?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, you take success and try to map backwards at how you got to that point in time. And I think for a young player, when there's a person in your locker room or a person at your position where he checked every box and did everything the right way, and he got the results that he wanted, and those results are also what you want, man, oh man, is that a clear picture of what it should look like. And, any player in our program that didn't pay attention to that is foolish. To watch that guy, what a showing for the NFL draft in Detroit, right? To watch that guy come across the stage and get a jersey, impactful for our team and our locker room, great for the city of Toledo, awesome for our university, tremendous for our athletic department and our program.
I have a question, and this is off the beaten path a little bit. The transfer portal it's a reality. Does that in any way, you know, when you bring people in, you generally can develop and you can mold them. And does the transfer portal affect that? Does it speed up the clock at all, or can you not let it?
Well, I don't think you can pay attention to it, to be honest with you. I mean, and I say that, it sounds ignorant to say that, but I think you can't. There's good in everything, right? Everybody hears the bad. Everybody hears that, man, oh man, this player left to go to this particular school, and that's for the wrong reason. First of all, none of us are in those kids' shoes, and none of us are being presented with some of the opportunities that they are at 18 to 22 years old. And if we were, man, oh man.
Take them.
Yeah, no question. So I think there is good in everything. I think there's lessons to be learned in everything. I think there's the rules of engagement that we have to play. Sometimes that site moves and where that is going. But you either play the game or you get passed by. So you take the good with the bad, you take the bad with the good, and you put the best plan forward to help Toledo be the best product that it possibly can be on the football field.
All right, back to this year's team. What do you like about it? You get a sense of it. What do you like about this group?
I love those two young men that you just talked to. And I feel like there's a group of guys around them that understand that those two are very impactful leaders in the sense that they do it the right way. They're high character individuals that pay really close attention and have a really good heartbeat on what their academics looks like. They are character driven. They're not image driven like most young people are today. They're going to be successful in life, and that's a great example for what our team is. And I get it. We judge coaches off of wins and losses, and that's part of the job. But I think from day one, when I became the head coach at Toledo, I always said you're not going to judge our players off wins and losses. We're going to judge them on what they become in society in 10, 15 years from now. And there's another two clear examples of what success is going to look like. So when you go to work with people every day that you respect and that you love and you trust and you care about, man, oh man, does it make the job much easier.
Jason Candle, appreciate the time and the insight. Thanks very much.
Thank you, no doubt.
Jason Candle, head football coach of the Toledo Rockets. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. We will hear from a couple of the Rockets players coming up. Sports for CLE, the special edition from MAC Football Media Days. Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The time is now. Your chance to take a leap, to do what you've been waiting for, like taking a closer look and making a bigger difference. Because when you become a Rocket, you're able to do smart things, to do art things, to do let's roll up our sleeves things. Whatever your thing is, you have the power to do what it takes. The University of Toledo, the power to do.
We continue with a special edition of Sports for CLE from the Mid-American Conference Football Media Days, and we are pleased to be joined by a couple of the Rockets players, Jerwan Newton, a wide receiver, and Maxon Hook, safety. Jerwan had a great year last year, 52 catches, almost 700 yards, 9 touchdowns. Take us through what you want to see even more from yourself this year.
Honestly, the end goal is just to help my team however I can. The stats and things like that will come, but the main goal is just to win games.
Maxon, safety, again, I see this 69 tackles, 37 solos. You had a couple of 3 interceptions, a forced fumble. The solo tackles tells me you don't mind getting in the box and playing in the run game. How much pride do you take in that part of your game?
Yeah, I mean, at Toledo, we use our safeties to fit runs, so defense relies on us to, fit some gaps. So we definitely take a big pride in that.
I know you guys had you were unbeaten, 8-0 in the MAC, 11-3 overall. Season didn't end the way you wanted it to. How much does that motivate you in what I'm referring to, MAC championship game? You made it, and then you fell to Miami. How much does that motivate you the way last year ended?
Yeah, absolutely. We made it to the pinnacle of the season and fell short right at the very end. So, we won the year before. We know what it takes to get there. So it's just, using that motivation to get back to where we want to be, but finishing the job this time.
Same question for you.
Just going off what he said, just knowing where we messed up at going towards the end of the season, just trying to correct those type of things when we get into the moment again and just be ready for it.
You have 4 starters back on offense, 4 starters on defense. So not as many returners as previously. What does that do? How do you approach that?
Well, for a while we've been getting these guys along, just trying to get these guys up to the standard. That's why you start with winter workouts, spring ball, summer workouts, and now we're about to get into fall camp. Just trying to uphold those guys and to do things the Toledo way, and then when the time comes, they'll be ready for sure.
Same question for you.
Yeah, we lost definitely some key players in the secondary. We lost the first rounder.
Yeah, first round.
But those young guys have been, learning from, Q and Chris and those veteran guys. They were getting molded the whole time that they were here, learning from them, and they've had a great spring, great winter, so they'll be ready to go by the time of the season.
So we're referring to Q Mitchell, who was first round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. So one of the best cover corners in the draft. So there's some history there. Confidence level, though. I mean, you mentioned it. You played in the last 2 years. You've played in the Mid-American Conference title game. How do you approach it? There's got to be a confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. We go into every game and we feel like we're, a team to beat. And so every week we have to bring it all, and really in the MAC and every conference game is a championship game. If you want to make it to the end, every game matters, especially now with how the conference is working. It's going to be the top 2 teams, not just the East and West anymore. Every one of these games is going to be that much more important.
Same question for you. I'm curious.
Our confidence is there. Our confidence is going to be there every game. I trust in myself. I trust in all my teammates to go out there and just win the football game. I just feel like once we start getting to the end of the season, getting close to the championship, we just got to be consistent with what we've been doing all season long and just don't get complacent, and we'll get what we want done.
What kind of offense can this be? I mentioned you had 9 touchdowns on your own. So I know there's some guys that graduated, some guys that moved on.
Right.
But how good can this offense be this year?
Our offense could be even better than what we were last year. Toledo is always known for air raid offense, putting the ball out there. Past few years we had great running backs. We still got a returning running back, Jarquez Stewart, who's a very explosive guy. So just looking forward to making a lot of big plays.
Defense, 4 starters return. What kind of defense can you have this year?
Yeah, I think our defense is going to take another step forward again this year. I think we got a lot of guys who are hungry and ready to prove themselves. And so when you got a team like that, although we're young, there's going to be guys flying around, and I think we're going to have another great year.
Non-conference, getting ready for, you mentioned top 2 teams in the MAC this year will play for the MAC championship. There's no East and West. How important is that non-conference to get ready for MAC play then? We'll start with you, Maxon.
Yeah, especially for us, like you said, we only have 4 starters on both sides of the ball. So, getting those guys who haven't played as much ball, their feet wet, and to, playing in a game, playing in the system, I think that's huge, just before we're getting into those conference games. And like I said, those conference games are going to be huge this year.
Same question for you.
I feel like non-conference game, like he said, I feel like they'll just probably help us out getting ready for the MAC play. Honestly, I feel like every game is just a game for you to take an opportunity to get better. So,
Jawan, Maxon, appreciate the time. Best of luck
sir.
to the Toledo Rockets in 2024. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.